Selling your home can feel a little like speed dating. A lot of people show up, some make crazy requests, and you're just trying to find that one perfect match. But here's the thing. If you don't set boundaries, buyers and agents will try everything. And if you're not careful, you'll end up agreeing to things that make you lose money, time, or sanity. So today, let's go through 20 things you should never agree to when selling your house. And we'll have a little fun with it, because some of these requests, they're downright ridiculous. And stick around for number 13, because it's one that sounds like a blessing, but it's really a curse. Number 1, no showings without an appointment. In a real estate transaction, people will never treat you nicer than your first meeting and interaction. If someone's first contact with you is to show you that they don't care about your time or your privacy at all, what will the rest of your 45-day transaction look like? They show up unannounced and expect you to open doors wide and let them peek into your cupboards. Really? When I think about what's going on in my house in any given moment, I can't think of a single time in the day where I or my house is ready to show to a potential buyer in a popover, an unexpected drop by. Did my underwear miss the hamper this morning as I was getting in the shower? Is the towel still on the floor? Did the kids make their bed? Look, this isn't an open door Costco sample station. No appointment, no showing. If a buyer can't plan ahead, what makes you think they'll be able to follow through on the contract? I know, read the listing agreement sounds boring, but signing without reading it is like clicking accept all cookies on the internet. You may be giving away more than you think. The worst time to find out there is something shocking or something you didn't know you agreed to is after you sign and after the agent has spent time and money on your listing. Agents become much less negotiable when their time and money has been spent. And keep this in mind. Most people think that an agent earns their commission upon a successful closing, but that's not true. The agent has earned and is owed their commission when they bring a ready, willing, and able buyer that signs an offer that meets the requirements of the listing. If the buyer intends to perform, you owe your listing agent a commission. It will be hard to challenge something in the listing agreement after that point. The garage size test. This has happened to me on several occasions. Everyone who drives a truck must have been screwed at some point in the home selling process because they all have this fear, will my truck fit? And for some reason, taking a simple measurement is never the first option on the table. They don't trust themselves or the seller to do it accurately, so they want to pull their truck in. I would say no to that request. There have been many instances where they employed the pull-in method, only to find out their truck didn't fit when it hit the back wall. They all of a sudden became difficult to get a hold of. Do you really want to start the process of negotiating, arguing about who is going to pay and how much? For truck owners, go online or to the dealership or type in your truck's make, model, and year. There's a website that will tell you the appropriate dimensions required for adequate parking. Number 4, no contractors before closing. When a buyer asks, hey, can we bring in our contractor before we close? That's a no. They don't own it yet. You do not want to be involved with any renovations of a property that you won't own, even in the planning stage. And trust me, they will try to drag you in. Excuse me, Mr. Sinatra, my contractor has a couple of questions. Would you mind? And then they will ask you something like, hey, do you know what size header is over this opening? No, you don't know that. And even if you did, no, you don't know that. You are not a contractor and you don't want to give someone information that they rely on that turns out to be wrong. The buyer has a 10-day period to inspect. They can bring in whoever they want in that time, but not before and not after. Now let's say that you are moving out the week before closing and the buyer finds this out and asks, you know, it would really help us out if we could get the demo done and cleaned up before we move in. Since the house will be vacant, can we get started early, please? I shouldn't have to explain why that is a horrible idea. It's like going to a car dealership and asking the salesman if you could rip out the seats before you buy it so it'll be ready for the new ones that you ordered when they come in. Tell them to close early if they need early access. Simple as that. Locked boxes to me are like the self-checkout of real estate, only instead of a bag of potatoes or a pork chop, it's your home, your biggest investment. Now I'm going to get some agents angry with me, but a lockbox only serves agents who don't want to have to be available to show. Think about what a lockbox says to a buyer's agent. Hello, I can't be bothered, or I'm way too busy for this listing, so let yourself in. Email me any questions you might have, and then give me a call if you're interested in writing an offer. Or better yet, just email me the offer, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Taking a listing isn't just getting paperwork signed and entering property information into the MLS. That's not selling. That's just setting the table. That's making the world aware of this amazing property so they can come and see it. Selling the house is what you do after. It's meeting the potential buyer and their agent at the property, sizing them up, presenting the facts personally in a way that the printed word or written property description can't do. Then leaving them alone so they can walk the property in peace and privacy. Then make yourself available when they're done to fill in any holes that they didn't fill in the showing. It's also about building rapport with the buyer's agent, getting a feel for the agent's professionalism and skill to see if the buyers are in the market or just looky-loos, both of which are fine because I've sold home to buyers who were only there to compare our listing to another property on their list. That is the definition of selling. Also, when you have a house on lockbox, some agents will take advantage of that and use your property as the comp for their listings. And again, you will be trusting whoever walks through your home to turn things off when they leave, to lock doors when they leave. And that doesn't always happen. You're paying a commission to your realtor to sell your house. Have them sell your house. No early move-ins. Okay, this seems really obvious, but I'm saying it over because the request happens rather frequently. Listen, loans have been canceled at the 11th hour. A mortgage isn't final until it's final. I've seen a buyer lose his job 2 days before closing and lose his loan. Banks will call the employer to check, by the way. I've seen buyers buy a new car the week of closing and it throws off their debt to income ratio and they lose their loan. And then what? You have people living in your home that have either sold their home or ended their lease and have nowhere to go. Your only recourse is to keep their earnest money. But you won't even be able to do that if the financing contingency is in place. They get their money back and they get your house until you go through the courts to evict them. Now, some people are honorable and will leave. Some won't or can't because they have nowhere to go. Also, what happens if they burn down your house? Or there's a storm and a tree crashes into the roof while they're living there? Chances are your insurance will not cover it because your policy is for an owner-occupied dwelling and you weren't occupying it, owner. Well, at least if they burn down your house, you won't have to worry about having to evict them. Some agents will put in the listing a credit that they intend to offer on an executed contract. For example, we'll replace the carpet, we'll paint bedroom number 4. Something even bigger, we will allow a credit to repair the roof. If you advertise credits before they've even seen the home, you're basically saying, please lowball me. It's called negotiating against yourself. It's like you're saying, I know that you're looking at this home online and you're probably not going to make an offer, but what if I pre-drop our price? It's not negotiating from strength, but from insecurity. If your home is in good shape and it's priced appropriately, you shouldn't be offering a discount before the negotiations even start. Some buyers will ask you for a credit over repairs. Here's a pro tip. Credit buyers money instead of fixing stuff. Switching the responsibility of the repair to the buyer, the person who will be living with the repair, makes a lot of sense. If you or your contractor does the repair, it will initiate another inspection and it gives the buyer another opportunity to hold your feet to the fire. Next, if it's an electrical or plumbing or roofing repair, you'll need a licensed contractor who will have to offer some sort of warranty. What happens if the repair fails a few weeks or months later? You ask them to call the contractor, but he either doesn't answer or he's closed his doors. Are you ready to take on that repair again? Or, depending on the extent of the problem, hire a lawyer? Repairs take time, credits close deals. But don't agree to a credit until the inspection and the inspection period are over and you have the final repair list agreed upon and signed. Number 9, no aesthetic repairs. I can remember a buyer's agent saying to me, look, you can't expect my client to move into a house with a red bedroom. That was a new one to me. Most buyers accept and even look forward to adding their own style or designs to their new home. They paint, they wallpaper, they change out cabinet or door hardware, add some new plants in the yard, make the home their own. Buyers will and should negotiate to get home defects repaired or replaced, or as I recommend in the pro tip, to have them credited. but the color of the wall is not a defect. The style of the countertops is not a defect. Oil rubbed bronze colored hardware is not a defect. It is a style choice, and sellers are not Chip and Joanna Gaines asking if you're ready to see your fixer-upper as they pull away that big 40-foot roll-away baffle. No aesthetic repairs. Number 10, no extended close without skin in the game. Look, things happen. A loan closing gets delayed, down payment funds are delayed, etc. A few days is one thing, but when a buyer starts asking for a week or 10 days or even longer, that's when the problems start. First question is, why the delay? If it's a bank issue out of the buyer's control, you can find that out by speaking with their loan officer. But if the delay is something caused by the buyer, you need to protect yourself. Was the buyer late in turning over documents to their lender causing the delay? Did their parents who were lending them the down payment money get cold feet? Whatever the reason, if it is the buyer's doing, they need to put some additional skin in the game to show their intent to close. A possible solution might be asking that a portion of their earnest money be released to you, or that they sign an addendum making the earnest money non-refundable under any circumstances if they fail to close by a certain date. You can tell a lot about how serious and whose fault the problem is by the buyer's response. Feeling overwhelmed yet? This is the kind of stuff that can cost you a fortune. Now we're going to dive into the next 10 secrets, including the one that I warned you about, in part 2 of this video. It's linked at the end, but I wanted to give you a tool to fight back. I put together a seller negotiation cheat sheet that you can download for free. It breaks down how to counter buyer tactics and protect your equity. Leave the comment cheat sheet below and we'll send it over. And then click the link at the end of the video for part 2 of 20 things not to agree to when selling your home.